Hi, thank you for joining us today. I'm Brian Bernasek, and I co-head the private equity business in the U.S. here at Carlyle. Today, I'm joined by my colleague, Bobby Schmidt, a senior investor on our healthcare team who's been very active putting capital to work this year through Accretive M&A. Bobby, given how active you have been across the portfolio in recent days, can you take us through a few of those opportunities?
Brian, thanks for having me. Really excited about the opportunity to talk about some of the work we've been doing. So first on Resonetics, it's our market-leading medtech contract design, development, and manufacturer. They partner with some of the largest and most sophisticated medtech companies around the world. And Resonetics announced in January of this year a $900 million acquisition for a business called Memory. We bought it out of an Italian publicly traded conglomerate, really utilizing our Carlyle deep network to find something on a proprietary basis. Memory is a market leader in nitinol, and nitinol is really a new age, new technology that's being used for a lot more medical products today than ever before. And so we saw a real value in acquiring that technology, bringing it into Resonetics, which is great at customer service and design and development, and together that platform was going to be a real value accretive deal. And I think what we talk a lot about with regards to value creation is how can we grow a business faster? How can we take costs out? And so in addition to the growing faster by putting the businesses together, we also have a meaningful cost opportunity by consolidating some sites. So we're really excited about this deal in particular. I think when you talk about revenue growth and you talk about cost opportunities and a clear strategic fit, that gets us really excited about M&A in this environment. Maybe even more recently, we announced another acquisition through our Unchained Labs platform. And this is a life science tools company with a leading gene therapy solution out in the market. We've actually done a couple deals with Unchained through our ownership period, just about 2 years also. And we're really repositioning the business into the gene therapy market, which is one of the fastest growing parts of all of life sciences. What was really interesting about this one is our team was out visiting biopharma customers like they do all the time. And they saw Blacktrace and its instruments sitting right next to Unchained's instruments in the lab, in the gene therapy workflow. And so we said, this is a company that's going to fit really well with ours. They weren't in a process. They didn't have a bank. We went and we were able to negotiate on a bilateral basis, under exclusivity, a deal over the course of 3 months. That's the exact place you want to be as a buyer in this environment, or frankly, at any point.
Yeah, that's true.
And so when we talk about cross-sell opportunities, we're actually going to find a lot of cost savings there as well. And with this strategic fit in the fastest growing end markets for that business, again, that's what we call strategic fit. And those are the types of deals we're getting really excited about doing in today's market.
No, it's great. Look, I mean, the great thing about both of those deals is they fit so nicely with the theme of investing in market leaders, great businesses, doing everything we can to help those companies to be stronger and better, and doing it with great management teams, which we have in both places too. So yeah. It's they're both great fits and great deals. So tell me a little bit about how we finance these deals and what we were able to pull together and what capabilities we have here to be helpful.
Yeah, well, Brian, as you know, we have a wonderful capital markets practice here at Carlyle, some great team members, and something we've actually invested heavily behind over a number of years. We're putting in both equity and debt into Resonetics and equity into Unchained. So Carlyle and our investors are absolutely supporting these, but we're also going out to the markets. And it's not lost on anybody, right? The tumultuous times out there in the debt capital markets over the last 18 months or so, we're seeing the direct lending market really taking share from the syndicated market. But our capital markets team can find the right capital at the right price from the right partners in almost any market. And that's really benefits both the investment professionals here at Carlyle, but also our portfolio companies. A few other things that they're really top notch at. One, around hedging strategies. So they help with all of our companies and design the right kind of debt portfolio and the hedging strategies that we have there. But then also on the equity capital markets, the insights that they can drive for us. For instance, in 2020, 2021, our healthcare team alone took 4 companies public. And so we're generating a ton of institutional knowledge on the equity side as well, and that's resident in our capital markets team.
No, absolutely. No, those are all great points. Debt and equity. Clearly, having the expertise with folks on the ground and as part of the team dedicated to capital markets, and having the scale that we do activity-wise in the markets and with those resources is differentiating. So I think it's a great edge, and it's very helpful on these add-ons for certain. Now, you mentioned when you were laying out the opportunities in each of these deals, the hard work opportunity on growing revenues and driving efficiencies across the businesses. How do we do that? How do we actually make that happen? It's one thing to talk about it and say, these are the things we're going to do. It's another to make it happen. How do we make that happen?
Yeah. So in addition to, finding M&A deals and buying right, capturing that value, as you just suggested in your kind of integration question, is really the secret sauce here. 40 deals, add-on deals over the last 18 months. We've done this hundreds of times across portfolio here at Carlyle. And so we really have best practices that we've accumulated over time. We've made many mistakes that we don't need to make a second time again. And we've kind of seen everything at least once here at the firm. And so what we try to do, especially during diligence, is align tightly with our management teams up front to talk about what the expectations are. What are those revenue growth targets? What are those cost efficiencies? And so we go into a deal fully aligned with the team that owns the execution and is fully accountable. But we here are built to support them in all of those endeavors. And so we've got a global portfolio solutions group of over 50 professionals here at Carlyle that we've invested behind over the course of the last decade. And those experts, think about it as human capital, procurement, digital transformation. These are all expertise that most of our portfolio companies don't have resident at each one, but we collectively can bring to bear. And so that's the type of resources that we, Carlyle, can bring to each one of these different acquisitions and really mitigate the risk when we're talking about integrating businesses. The last thing I'd note is our best CEOs recognize the value of these resources and what they can bring to their teams. And not only does it really help in integration and risk mitigation, but frankly, it's a differentiator on the market, and we can win new business through that as well.
No, absolutely. It's a really virtuous circle, if you will, in that we're able to attract great CEOs who want to partner with sophisticated investors and knowledgeable sector leads like you, who want to partner with some teams that want to grow their businesses and find ways to improve their businesses over time and have the resources to do that, whether that's GPS, capital markets, and again, your strengths and your strong team that's around you as well. So it's a great way to invest, and it's worked really well for us a long time, and it's a recipe we'll keep coming back to, no doubt about it. Bobby, thanks a bunch. Really appreciate this. Some great thoughts for sure. And thank you very much for joining us today and taking the time to do it. We really appreciate your support and your interest.